Good morning. It is a pleasure to be back here speaking in this church. Probably for the last time I will speak in this church. As some of you know, during the aughts in the early teens, I spoke here probably once every other month for quite a while. And it's been far too long since we've had a little chat. James, the music was right on. You had no idea of what I was going to talk about outside of you've heard me talk before. Today's talk was brought about by the fact that in September I am going to be doing one of our classes on a book by Marcia Sitar called Ordinary People as Monks and Mystics. And she defines a mystic as one who expressly feels called by God to deliver a specific message. In 1988, I was recovering from my divorce. I had a wonderful sales agency that I was rebuilding. And Spirit said to me, as I was speaking at the Unity Church in Irving, Texas, "Oh, by the way, starting next year, you're to go out and to travel the country telling people about God's love and about self-love." And I said, "Say what?" Spirit repeated it, and I said, "But that's not me. That's not what I do." And Spirit said to me, "This is what I ask of you." One of the things I've noted in my journals, and I have journals going back 45 years, is that Spirit always asks. It never tells us. It asks us. It is a cooperative thing. That's an observation I made many times, that this is something Spirit asks of us. If it tells us, it eliminates the possibility of free will. And I consider free will God's greatest gift to us, because we get to choose. Lots of stuff about choosing in here. A couple of specific entries and then some commentary on them. Redemption. Ultimately, I believe each of us seeks redemption. We seek to redeem ourselves within the framework of life. We strive to achieve a sort of self-knowledge that when we face God, we will have something to show for our lives. Each of us seeks redemption from past sin, from those things done, from those things left undone. We seek the assurance that our individual life amounted to something, somehow, some way. And we feel the futility of it all. My father is dying. I feel him slipping away. He no longer thinks of the hopes and the dreams he once had. Rather, he focuses on the love he has felt, the love he tried to give, and the love given and received. Love extended, love denied. And the final redemption is love, freely given, openly, without condition. Just love and redemption. Each of us is seeking in our own way to redeem ourselves. I don't know what you're redeeming yourself from. Sometimes I have no idea what I'm trying to redeem myself from. The big part of it is, though, that we're seeking to feel that connection with God, Spirit, whatever we choose to call it, Buddha, Allah. It's all the same, and it's all different. We seek that sense of connection. We seek that feeling of redeeming ourselves, of having felt that our life meant something. That's a hard one, to feel like your life meant something. So many people go through life not sure. So many people go through life sure that their life didn't mean anything. That's sad, because it did. Each of us touches each other in so many ways. That's the way the cycle of life works. Quick observation, one that I made when I was in Scottsdale, Arizona, the very first time. I'm driving through Scottsdale to go to the hotel where Unity of Scottsdale was putting me up, and I drove past the Campus Crusade for Christ. And on the side of the building was a big sign that said, "God is the only answer." After I got settled into my hotel, I wrote that down and followed it by, "What's the question?" What's the question? If God's the only answer, what's the question? Anybody know? For each of us, again, it's an individual equation, because each of us relates to and is part of and interconnects with God in our own way. Your way is different than my way. In both ways, all ways are correct. There are 25 people in this room right now, counting myself, if I counted correctly, and each one of us has a different connection to God, a different way of relating to and with God. It's a unique perspective that each of us gets. That was an observation that I got from talking with and dealing with thousands of people over the 12 years I was on the road from 1989 to 2000. Each of you is unique. We're all unique. I do not believe in fate or destiny. There is a pattern, a flow to life, but it's cause and effect more than anything else. Every time we make a choice, we set certain possibilities into motion and eliminate other possibilities. This has nothing to do with fate, but rather with free will of man and the fact that we choose our own path through life. One event leads to another. One decision causes one event. Another decision causes another event. It's basic cause and effect. There are no mistakes in your life. You've made no mistakes. You made choices. Those choices aren't mistakes. Those choices are you exercising that free will tenet that we were granted by God. Cause and effect. Or is it effect and cause? Because they're interchangeable, you know. Every time you have a cause and you have an effect, the effect has a result, which results in another cause. It's an endless chain throughout life. I turned 77 in 2 months, and I'm amazed sometimes that my chain has lasted this long. How many people have occasionally questioned what their purpose is? You're on the right track. Always question. And you may or may not get a direct answer. The answer may be what you're doing right now, this very minute. Something that I wrote in 1982, when somebody was telling me about something I'd written, said, "It's going to make you famous." And I wrote in my journal, "Fame is an illusion thrust upon us by others who having found nothing to believe in their own lives, assign their personal greatness to others." You are personally great, each of you. Each of you has worth. Each of you has a message to give, be it like I do, or be it in your own quiet way. But each of us has a message, and each of us, if we're aware of it or not, shares that message with other people. It's not a one-time thing. It's your entire life working through you at all times. Life didn't come with a roadmap. It's only a path, and it only unfolds before us as we move forward. We don't need a roadmap, only the faith to realize that the road is there in front of us. You take a step, you get a result. Based on that result, you know what to do next. So you take another step. I forget who it was that said, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with but a single step." How many miles have each of us walked, step by step, sometimes almost totally unaware of the steps that we are taking? With severely dysfunctional individuals, it can be extremely counterproductive to focus too much on the future. There is a need to stay very much in the now moment as the future comes from the now moment, not the past. How many of us live our lives retroactively? We keep going back to certain things in the past and reliving them and changing the outcome. Well, maybe in some alternative universe someplace, because I believe in alternative universes, by the way, it happened that way, but it didn't for you. It happened the way it happened, and your life progressed from that point. There was a slide, Jim, on compassion. Could you throw that up, please? It gave me a thought when I saw that. You had that up earlier. Hang on, folks. We'll get there. He didn't know I was going to do that. And we'll do it or not, as the case may be. Normal. Normal is whatever you make of it. Normal is different things to different people. My normal is not your normal. Your normal is not my normal. We have 25 different normals or definitions of normal in this room. And as with everything about life and about the personal observations that we make, the neat thing is, although it's different for each of us, we get to trade notes. Life is a series of tests, and the tests are multiple choice. Guess what? You have to choose. All the time, we have to choose. That's a great gift, is choice. Isness. Isness is an internal feeling of being. Again, it's different for each of us. I guess the biggest thing I learned in the 12 years I was out there was how many different ways isness is defined. Is it defined by the man who told me that before the workshop I did, he never believed God could love him? Is it defined by the man with AIDS who told me he was dying and he thought God hated him? We accept each other as we find each other. Sometimes our state of beingness may really irritate somebody else. Our isness isn't the same as other people's. Guess what? The other people weren't put here to think the same way you do. We form committees. Committees disagree with each other. I don't know how many committees in Lions Club or in church or when I was a school teacher back in the 60s I've seen, and committees are a great way to have disagreement. However, if we can realize that each person is coming from their own unique point of view and that they have a right to that unique point of view, there'd be less disagreement, or at least less friction. We're not going to do away with disagreement, but maybe we can do away with the friction. Over the years, I observed many things. Creation is ongoing. Too many people think that we read the Bible and God created this and God created that in 7 days and the creation was done. I'll get to that slide in a second, Jim, thank you. But creation is ongoing. It never stopped. It is our concept of creation that has stopped. That's our problem. Even the act of doing nothing is a decision, an act of creation. There are no limits. The only limits that we have, we've placed on ourselves. God is infinite. The universe is infinite. Only the mind of man is finite because he makes it so. Can you give me that slide now, Jim? You had it up there a second ago. Compassion, I can't read that, isn't about solutions. It's about giving all the love that you have got. That's compassion. It's about giving love. That is so sums up so many things that I thought over the years in my journals. Compassion is about love. It's not about doing something, it's about being something. Each of us is a state of being. I'm spirit in a human form. Each of you is spirit in a human form. If you look around, look at how many various forms God has chosen to express God's self. Each of them different and unique. Each of them with a different way of approaching the divine. It's all good. God is good. Our lives are good. There is no fate, no destiny. True, there's a pattern, a flow to life, but it is more cause and effect than anything else. Every time we make a choice, we set certain possibilities into motion and eliminate others. There is no such thing as fate. Everything has to do with free will and choice. The fact that each of us choose our own path through life. One event leads to another, each decision creating a new path at each moment. Every time you make a decision, you go down one path and several other paths are eliminated. Now, that doesn't mean, by the way, that you can't go back and choose another path later on. Many of us do. Yet, there is a pattern. We pick up on certain highly possible events in the future if we are open to the flow of time, space, and event. And in reading them, in seeing them, we change them. The future is not set in stone. It, like the rest of life, is a flow and is still able to be molded and shaped as we move through time. No fate, no destiny, no God playing with our lives as hapless humans, just the natural flow of events and energy in the universe taking place within the universe, with each action leading to every other action as time progresses. Each path is different, each path is unique. Each of us approaches life as in a manner which we perceive is best for us. And all of life is merely potential. To this moment in time, it's a matter of potential. We each have potentials. We each have choices that we make on a daily basis. Just because you're a given age or have a given problem doesn't mean your life is ended. It means that you have choices. You have potential. Each of you has unlimited potential. What you do with that potential, with those possibilities, is up to you. Not up to me, not up to Bill Bussey, although Bill would like to tell you what to do. I used to pick on Chuck Picard, but he's not here to pick on. We have those possibilities, those chances. We get to interact with other people, and that creates possibilities for the other people and for us. All of life is about those possibilities. I've written thousands of pages, made hundreds of observations. I've tried to share just a few of them with you today. I hope they're meaningful. I hope you got something from it. And if you didn't, that's okay too, because we're always making choices, and everything that we say and do hits different people in different ways. And it merely is. You are, I am, God is. Namaste.